Level 1 Paul here. Today I'm going to talk more about the strategy that I talked about in my last video. Now if you guys haven't seen that last video, make sure and watch it. That's this top scalping strategy. So I recommend you guys watch that video before watching this video, because I give you kind of the rundown of how to set everything up for this scalping strategy, which is pretty effective. And I did end up making about $120 using this strategy. And basically what I'm doing is I'm scalping the market. You get in and get out. So today I'm going to use an example. Well, yeah, I guess I'll go to stocks, even though the stock market's not open today. I want to get this. Now, what you want to do is for this formula. See if it works. Come on. So what you want to do for this formula is you want to set everything up like I talked about in the last video, but I'm going to talk about something else that you could do using the same strategy to get similar results. I still prefer what I talked about in the last video, but this is something else you guys can do. So you have to set everything up. Let's do this on the 1 minute. And I'll probably spend today and tomorrow, and I'll talk more about this, but because I really like this strategy. Now, let's just rewind a bit because the stock market is closed. Now, if you guys want the setup, you need your 3 EMAs. You need your 9 EMA. You need your 21 EMA. And you basically need to change the settings of your RSI. Check off RSI. You're going to be working with the RSI-based MA. Make sure it's a bright color. And then the upper band I make white, and I make it thicker. And I make the middle band like red to distinguish, where the uptrend and the downtrend is. And then, of course, I got the lower band, which is white, and it's thick. So you can see that right here. We're not messing with the regular RSI with this strategy. We're following this. We just need this one line here. So let me just rewind here, because I kind of want to explain this strategy for you. Now, I do prefer the other strategy that I talk about in the video, but this is kind of an alternative. And I don't have to spend a lot of time explaining this part of it. And that's basically, if you pay attention to your RSI, whenever the yellow line here is way above the top, when the RSI is way up here, I would put in for a put. And whenever the RSI is down here, I put in for a call. So I want to it's basically that simple. So basically, it doesn't work. It doesn't work all the time, but it works pretty frequent. And I think it works better for the longer time frames. So I'm going to go here on the 15 minute. And we're going to see, this is a good resource if you guys want to just do some. All you got to look for really is the yellow line to be way at the top or way at the bottom. So that's what we're going to be looking for. So if we notice, and I don't really have to be looking at the charts here or the candles, you could see that the yellow line is very close to the top. So what I would do in this position is I would put in for I'm on the 15 minute, and I would put in for a put. So let's just put on the candles and see what happens. So if we just look at the RSI, we see, and we put in a put. Where'd you go? Where did you go? Okay, where'd you go? Okay. So if we focused on the top part right here, and say when it's way at the top, especially above the white line, I would put in a call. And it's way on the bottom, you put it in for. If it's way at the top, you put in a put. If it's way on the bottom, you put in for a call. So let's just see how accurate this is. So you got in right here, because that's where the RSI is, and you wrote it out. Wrote it out to about here, and you got about around a $6 difference in price, so that's about $300. So basically, you just want to look for every time it's at the closest to the bottom as it can get. And we can see that again right here. So point of entry would be right here. And if you wrote it out all the way to the top, you'd be in some gains. That's a good one right there for 3 days. But basically, when the RSI is either way in the bottom or way at the top, it's really got only one direction to go, and the RSI is gonna go travel back up eventually. So it may take some time, but it will do that. There are some situations where it doesn't work. That's where you got to pay attention to your kind of your 9 and 21 EMA. When that does happen, you got to make your best judgment. And I'm going to do this a couple times. If I see a situation where it doesn't work, I'll point it out. Let's try and find a situation where it doesn't work. But we see right here, it's close to the top, so I would put in a put here, and I would write it out. And that's almost $6 difference in price. That's like $300. So what I would do, and actually I stay cautious of when the line is in the middle on the RSI, I kind of don't look at that because it could really go in any direction. I only stay focused when it's on the bottom or the top. When it gets close to or touching the white line or above it, whenever it does that, that's when I would make my entries. So let's look at this situation here. This looks like a short one. It's close to the bottom there. It's almost touching. And we get in right here and we ride it out till about here. And we can actually ride this out longer. Now let me show you an example where it doesn't work. It doesn't work as well. But you see, your gain would have been more if you sold here, which would have been a $6 difference in price. And if you watched the line and it rode up, and well, it's not that much of a difference, but still you would make more if you sold right there. So it doesn't always work, but it works a lot. So just be cautious. So we see again here that the yellow line's way at the top, so I do a put. I would do a put right here. Do a put right here, write it out. And look at the RSI all the way to the bottom, all the way to profits. So that's about a $4 difference price. So I want to look at this one more time, and then I want to look at this on the 1 minute, because a lot of my trades happen on the 1 minute. Now, like I said, when it's in between the red line there, I don't get involved because it really could go either way. So we can see right here that it's way on the bottom. The RSI is way on the bottom. So this would be a good time to do a call. So I could get in right here and I'd ride it all the way out. This is almost a $7 difference in price. So profit right there. So then it's all the way here at the top. So I would do a put right here, ride it out, and you get profit right there. That's a $12 difference in price in under 23 hours. So let me check this on the 1 minute. And I do not think it's as effective on the 1 minute, but I just want to walk that through you real quick. You basically, if you're doing it on the 1 minute, which I do the 1 minute on the strategy that I talked about in the last video, but in this one, using it for the shorter time frame, I don't think it works as well, but we'll see. We got to wait for it to be at the complete top. Okay, so if we wait right here, see that it's at the top. So I would do a put right here, and then I would write it all the way down to about there. So that's 14 minutes. It's a good scalp right there. That's about half of a $1 difference in price. So that's probably about $25 right there. So let's look again. Let's look for a moment when it's... Now, I personally, if I'm doing it on the 1 minute, I do the other strategy because the other strategy, you're basically just looking for the cross, and it's easier to find doing it on the 1 minute. It's easier to do scalps with the other strategy. So if you guys want to try the strategy, I'm not responsible for any profit or loss, but if you guys do try the strategy, let me know if it's working for you. Because I want to know if what I'm teaching is actually helping. So we see that the line is down here on the bottom. So we would come in for a call right here. And then we write it out. So that's a $1 difference in price. So it works well. It does. I don't think it works as well as the other strategy. But let's just do this a couple more times. Because I'm just putting that out there that this will not always work. So, especially if you're doing it on the 1 minute, stay cautious if you're doing this strategy. If you're doing the 1 minute, I would do the strategy that I talked about in my last video. If you're doing a longer time frame, I would do this strategy. So longer time frames, I would use this strategy. Shorter time frames, I would use the video that I talked about in the last video. So we see that it's close to the top right here. We get right here, and there, that's close to $1 difference in price. Let's do this 2 more times. See how effective it is. Okay, so we see it way here at the top. So then we come in and we do a put, write it out. And that's about over $2 difference price. That's about $150. Okay, so let's look again. Let's wait for it to go to closest to the bottom here. Or the top. Okay, so we got one at the top. So I would do a put, write it out. And that's about a $1 difference in price. And let's check again. Now here's an example. Here, I'm going to leave it here with this as an example. This is an example of it not working. Or not working well. You can see that the yellow line is way at the top. And you see it going down. It goes down, but just briefly. I mean, you probably get that one, but if you're not fast, if you don't get that, it bounces back up. So it doesn't always work. So if you put in a put, you would have to be very fast on that because that's only 3 or 4 candles. That's an example of it not working. So in that scenario, if you did come up here and be like, I'm going to do a put, you have to pay attention to the 9 and the 21 as well. And if the 921 seems like it's going in an uptrend, that is an indication of not to do it because it's very obvious that it's still in an uptrend. So this is a situation where it wouldn't have worked, but you just got to be cautious of it. So anyway, that's I do prefer the other strategy better than this. This is more meant for the longer time frames. So whichever one you want to do, I still prefer the video that I talked about in the last video. But both of these methods are pretty good for scalping, and I'm definitely going to be letting you guys know how well this is going to start, because tomorrow, once the stock market opens, I'm going to share my results and see how well this is actually working for me. But anyway, if you guys like the video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.